Welcome back, everyone. This is Seesaw Chill. We're now on the third day of investigation for the third trial of Turnabout Samurai. It's just revealed that Will Powers may have been drugged. That thing is off. The pill bottle is off for fingerprints because Jack Hammer stole the Steel Samurai costume. And it wasn't the Steel Samurai who was the murderer. It was the victim. According to Cody, he saw Steel Samurai get defeated. Very sad. And we've also revealed that the murder actually took place in Studio 2, not Studio 1 like we originally thought. So the whole thing with the monkey head falling was like, oh yeah, that's why we can't be the killers, because we couldn't get out. First of all, Cody was going through the woods, so like you could have totally gotten out through the woods because Cody was wandering around. Anyway, but that's not the point. Because apparently adults can only walk on paths. But yeah, so now it's revealed that Jack Hammer was actually at Studio 2 while it was all locked, which is what I was thinking because I was like, there was no blood at Studio 1, so like he had to have been moved. And Cody was weird with saying that it was only some guy. Some guy was the one that was there, the bad guy. Some random guy was the bad guy. Because like Jack Hammer was found in his evil magistrate suit. He wasn't found in the Steel Samurai suit, which explains why it's missing, because they would obviously want to hide that. The incinerator! Oh, it was in the incinerator! It was recently used, they hadn't cleaned up the soot. Oh, that's what it's gotta be. Anyway, there was no blood on the evil magistrate suit. Cody would have clearly recognized the evil magistrate suit if he had done that, but he wouldn't have just been saying it was some random guy that was skinny. He would have clearly known who that was as the main villain in his favorite TV show. Wow. I hope that that's what happened with the Steel Samurai suit. I hope they incinerated it. Well, okay, maybe not, because then it's not evidence. But that'd be a cool connection that probably everyone else already figured out, then I'm just late to the party. Anyway, let's get in this. That was a close one, huh, Mia? Really? Too bad. I'm sorry I missed it. Maya. So what happened? Well, I guess I've got a pretty good idea who did it. Now all I need is a motive and proof. Wow, good going, Nick. Under the initial trial system, tomorrow is the last day we have. Initial trial? What's that? That's the new court system they introduced 2 or 3 years ago. They had so many cases in the system, they decided to speed up the whole process. So, under that system, trials have to end in 3 days? Yeah, pretty much. Well, we've got no time to waste. Yeah, okay, so I guess the next day would be day 3. Whatever. Anyway, talk. I don't get it, Maya. Why would Mr. Hammer steal the Steel Samurai costume? What? You mean Mr. Hammer was wearing the costume? Yeah. But Mr. Hammer was the victim, Nick. Why would he go through the trouble of stealing it? That's what we have to figure out. What happened with the director's testimony? Well, it's pretty clear that the producer and the director were both in the trailer. Huh. Which means that the killer has to be one of them. Really? Why? Because the real scene of the crime was Studio 2, where the trailer is. What? Was Maya always this excitable? She doesn't know anything had happened because Mia was possessing her, so all of this is like news. Well, have you noticed anything that might help us? Can't see what's going on when Mia is here. So, no, I haven't noticed anything. Right. Maybe we should go talk to WP? WP Powers, right? Yeah, let's go talk to him. Is he there? Yes, okay, he's there this time. October 19th, detention center. Visitors room no number. Okay. Mr. Wright, you did very well again. Thank you. Oh, thanks. Could you not look like you're about to burst into tears? Wow, Nick, you must have really wowed him in there. And could you wipe that grin off your face? Hey, WP, only 1 day left. Let's make it count. Yeah. Yes. Though there's not really anything I can do to help. I'm not really sure what I can do either. Please, this is no laughing matter. Producer Vasquez. Could you tell me more about Miss Vasquez? Oh, the producer? She's well respected in the industry. They say she's a genius. A genius? She's been at Global Studios for 5 years now. Right or wrong, nobody dares to tell her different these days. Why is that? Ever since she came on board, we've had nothing but hits. Global Studios was on its knees, but she picked it up and made it shine. Oh, and... What? Nothing. Forget it. Only heard rumors anyhow. Can you tell me anything about Mr. Manella? Okay, so I know his name is Salmonella, but every time it says Manella, I keep thinking of that old like TV show Recess or whatever, with Spinelli. I keep trying to say Minelli or whatever because I think of Spinelli. It's fine. Oh, he used to be a minor straight-to-video director. But something in his work caught Vasquez's eye. She brought the Steel Samurai idea to him. Now everyone knows the name Salmonella, especially when it's written together. Like, I get that it's Salmonella because it's like the bacteria or disease or whatever. But I always want to say Spinelli. There's not even a P in it. Like, I don't get it. Whatever, it's fine. I hear he's pretty much at her beck and call, though. Whenever she says jump, he asks how high, and that's the... and all that. I can imagine him being at her beck and call, though I can't imagine him jumping. Why are we making fun of him? Like, he's gross. But we shouldn't make fun of his appearance. He's gross for different reasons. I was wondering about Mr. Hammer. He was a big star back in the day, right? But then he just dropped off the face of the earth. Oh. Yes, you're right. In fact, he was my whole model when I started this business. But he just stopped taking on big roles. That's when he began appearing in little productions at Global. How could he do that? I was really looking forward to a sequel of the Samurai Summer. He just gave up being a star 5 years ago. Actually, now that I think about it, that one was right when Miss Vasquez came to Global 5 years ago. Anything? Wanna see this? Have you seen this, Mr. Bowers? What's that? I've never seen these Steel Samurais in my life. These are the Steel Samurais that appear in live shows. A fanboy collected all these pictures himself. Seeing things like this really makes me think. I mean, so much to these kids, you know? Aww. Oh, let's go back. The old windbag sure is quiet today. You know, this place is really peaceful like this. I think our guard's down. Yeah. I bet we could even eat these donuts in the guard station if we wanted. You eat, you die. Oh, she's alive. I was wondering about Dee Vasquez, the producer. Oh, the studio bigwigs love her. So she always gets her way. She seems bitter. Do you not like the producer? Look, the studio's people don't want me talking about her, so sorry. Can I ask you a question about Salmonella, the director? Sal? He's soft, a pushover, does whatever Vasquez wants him to. She treats him like dirt, but I think he likes it. Huh? Why would anybody like being treated like dirt? Doesn't make any sense, does it, Nick? No. No, it doesn't, Maya. About Mr. Hammer. I heard about what you said today. Cheeky whippersnapper. Poor old Hammer. You drag his star down from the sky and stomp on it. Calling him a criminal, a thief. I won't forget this. Uh-oh, she's really mad this time. You listen to me, whippersnapper. My poor old Hammer would never do such a thing. Nobody still powers his costumes could sneak by me. He would never stoop so low, it's impossible. Okay. Let's go the employee area first. I always work from this direction. I guess they're not filming today either. I did want to see them filming. Just one time. This trial will be over and done by tomorrow. You can come see them film later. I guess. This is where you found that bottle of sleeping pills, right? Uh-huh. I wonder if there's any other clues lying around. Yarr! No touching. Oh, sorry, pal. Didn't mean to frighten you. Didn't mean to. I almost had a heart attack. He's gonna be a little dramatic at times. I suppose it's the actor in me. Dramatique? Dramatique, indeed. Anyway, I'm here to examine this plate on the table. Wait, are you looking for sleeping pills? Yeah, pal. Traces thereof. Oh. So you're looking for traces of the sleeping pills? How? For a thorough examination, I gotta take the plate back to the precinct. But that food has been out for days. That is so gross. But I have the capabilities to make a cursory examination right here. Our science guy gave me this testing solution. Reacts the sleeping pills, see. There's traces it'll change color. Wow, neat. Well, Detective Gumshoe, what are you waiting for? Now, everything in due time, pal. Oh, detective solution on the plate changed color, alright. The food on this place had been laced with sleeping pills. Looks like it. Steak plate added to the court record. How goes your investigation? To tell you the truth, it's a real mess, pal. Some people think we should pursue a case we already have against Powers. And some people think we should switch suspects. What do you think, Detective Gumshoe? Well, pal, I hate to admit it, but I'm not so sure I buy the case against Mr. Powers anymore. I feel kind of bad for Mr. Edgeworth, though. How was Edgeworth doing, anyway? Mr. Edgeworth is out of control. He was in the waiting room and he crushed his paper cup with hot coffee in it. Whoa. Talk about burns, pal. Wow, the fury of Edgeworth. Yeah, crushing paper cups. Bottles. Say, whatever happened with that empty bottle? Oh, the bottle of sleeping pills? Well, I got some good news for you about that. They found the victim jackhammer's prints on the bottle. So that means... Yep, it sounds like one of the Sounds like the one who put power asleep was none other than the victim. So I was right. Sleeping pill bottle added to the world record. Here's Jackhammer's fingerprints. Okay, so all this should be the same, except for now we know that that's the way that was. In the dressing room. Anybody in here? Oh, hello. What are you doing here? I was just cleaning up the dressing room. I guess WP won't be using it anymore. So... What? Why? WP's innocent. Yes, and I'm really grateful for all you've done. But... this week is the last episode of Steel Samurai. What? No! I was wondering if I could ask you about Mr. Hammer. Yes? On the day of the murder, he went to Studio 2. Huh? I thought he went to Studio 1. He stole the Steel Samurai costume, too. What? Why would Mr. Hammer do something like that? Oh. I guess the rumor must be true, then. The rumor? Yeah. Miss Vasquez, that producer, has some kind of hold on Hammer. Get some dirt on him and do anything she said, apparently. Some dirt? What dirt? Dirt, you know. Bad stuff. I know what dirt means. About 5 years ago, they were filming a movie starring Mr. Hammer. They were using the new studio, Studio 2. Some sort of accident happened during filming. After that, they never used Studio 2 again. They left the film set the way it was, too. The film set? Was that trailer part of the film set, then? What do you mean, the last Steel Samurai? I know it's a shock, but nothing can be done to save it now. Whoever really did kill Mr. Hammer also signed the Steel Samurai's death warrant. No. Also, I hear that Global Studios is going to change its programming. They're not going to make kids shows anymore. What? Why? I don't know. It's sad, but that's what Global Studios decided. Why aren't they going to make kids shows anymore? The studio's bigwigs don't want the Steel Samurai around anymore. They want to forget all this ever happened. They want it quiet, you understand? How can they just do that? What about the kids who love Steel Samurai? It's okay. I'm sure the kids will be fine. They'll find a new hero to follow. No, that can't be true. If the program just ends, they'll be heartbroken for sure. Nick, say something. Yeah. I think evidence rather than words is called for here. Here, take a look at this. And this is... a fan collected all these photographs. The kids love the Steel Samurai. The show shouldn't be canceled just because some adults can save face. I would think you would understand that better than anyone. You're right. Okay. But what can I do? Well, for starters, you can tell me something. Tell me about what that Global Studios so intend on hiding. Tell me about this accident 5 years ago. Okay. Could you tell us what happened 5 years ago? Well, I can tell you what I've heard. Apparently 5 years ago someone died. It was Hammer's fault. Someone died? It was an accident, of course. Anyway, the producer, Miss Vasquez, managed to hush it all up. And that's the dirt she had on Hammer? And that's why Hammer would do anything Miss Vasquez asked him to? But it was an accident, right? Why didn't they just make it public? Well, you know, Mr. Hammer was a big star back then. They were afraid about what would happen to his career if the word got out. You see... You know, who knows more about this? Miss Oldbag. She was here at the studios back then, you know? Thanks, we'll try asking her. If she'll talk. Okay. Back to the main gate. What, you're still slinking around? If you like the place so much, why don't you take it over for me? The old windbag doesn't look so good. Everybody's doing their darndest to forget Hammer. Who do they think they made Global Studios what it is today? Hammer. It's all due to Hammer. She's starting to froth at the mouth, Nick. Maybe we should keep a safe distance. I wanted to ask you about 5 years ago. Who told? Who did you hear that from? Huh? Nichols. Nichols? Nichols, Nick. Penny Nichols. That assistant we talked to. Oh, right. Anyway, we heard about the accident. It was during filming with Jack Hammer. He killed a man, didn't he? Oh, whippersnappers. Putting up old dirt on someone that passed like that, just so recently departed, no less. I suppose you think this is fun. No, I'm just doing my job to protect Mr. Powers. You claim that Hammer stole Powers' costume. You expect me to believe that rubbish? Or do you have some kind of proof? Proof that Hammer stole Powers' costume? I do. I'm sorry, Miss Oldbag, but I do have proof. I can prove that Mr. Hammer stole Mr. Powers' costume. Here's my proof. What? What's the little empty bottle supposed to prove? That bottle of sleeping pills. With Mr. Hammer's fingerprints on it. What does that prove? I'm sure old Hammer had some sleepless nights. To prove that he stole the useless pills on Mr. Powers. Mr. Powers ate a T-bone steak for lunch, correct? Well, yes, so? This is the plate that he used to eat that steak. There are traces of sleeping pill powder on the plate. I see. Poor Hammer. You did wrong, Hammer. Rest your soul. Miss Oldbag? Okay, you win. I'll talk. I'm tired, see? Tired of holding it all in. Miss Oldbag. You're right. 5 years ago, there was an accident. A fatal accident. What's worse, the paparazzi took a photo of it. That photo, well, it caused quite a stir. And guess who made it all better? Vasquez. She has ties to the mafia. She silenced that paparazzi. That was the beginning. After that, she became a force to be reckoned with here at the studio. I see. But you have to understand. Poor old Hammer never meant any harm to anyone. Miss Oldbag. Hold on a minute. Poor Miss Oldbag. Here, take this. A photograph? Photograph. Oh. Wait a second. This is the picture. Is this the trailer in Studio 2? Hammer was supposed to fight with the bad guy on top of those stairs, see? He pushed the other actor and the man fell to the flower box fence. But how did you get this? It was a long time ago. I don't feel much like talking about it. I understand. Oh my gosh. Well, that makes sense to why that piece was bent. Oh my gosh. Think back, Nick, to the day of the murder. Mr. Hammer put on the Steel Samurai costume. Then he left from here to go to Studio 2. Right. But why? I wonder if someone called him. Like the director or the producer. Hey Nick, it's Miss Vasquez. Hello. Hello. H-E-L-L-O. Maya, you should at least try to be polite. I'm watching the clouds. That's all she had to say, apparently. Excuse me? Mr. Hammer came here the day of the murder, and... Shh. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I'm watching the clouds, and not interested in talking to you. Do something, Nick. She's really ticking me off. Oh, dear. Mr. Powers wasn't the killer. You don't have to cancel the Steel Samurai. I think I'm tired of the Steel Samurai. You did it. Nick, she did it. She's the killer. My Fae blood speaks to me. I know it. I know it. Oh, dear. I was wondering if you could tell me about Mr. Manila. If you must talk about that man, perhaps you could talk about it in the trailer. By yourselves. Oh dear. The incinerator. It's new but covered in soot. There's some flowers here. Wow, so pretty. Taking good care of these. Don't get too close, that fence looks dangerous. Yeah. It's what caused the accident. Wasn't the assistant cleaning up yesterday? Funny, still seems pretty messy in here. I guess she's still on a high from getting that rare card she needed. Nothing in here that could be a clue. Just some paper cups and crumpled documents. This is where they had the meeting. There are documents and paper cups scattered around. It looks like they were designing a set to keep used for the Steel Samurai show. They got some figures for how much the sets cost. I can't believe they spent so much money on those sets. Oh wait. So I should probably show her that picture. He's not even looking. Where? What? Where did you get that? Well. Old bag. Old. She means security lady, Miss Oldbag, Nick. Right, anyway. Miss Vasquez. You had this incident from the press, didn't you? And you used it to control Mr. Hammer. The wind. Huh? It's gotten stronger, don't you think? The wind. Your conversation interests me. Let's talk about it more inside the trailer. Nick, she went inside the trailer. Okay. You came. Well then, what was it? What was it that you were talking about? Why is she so eager to talk all of a sudden? Miss Vasquez, you were using that accident. You were blackmailing Mr. Hammers. You can control him, weren't you? That's why he was doing the kids show for petty change. So I'm a blackmailer now? Well, that's what it was, wasn't it? I mean, sure, it was an accident. But you used it to drag Mr. Hammer down from his rightful place as a star. Oh? I haven't pulled anyone down from anywhere. Mr. Hammer's career went sour of its own accord. But... you were the cause. You pressured him. And I think it was just an accident. Excuse me? What is this all about? You keep saying accident, accident. How are you so sure? What do you mean? Must I spell everything out for you? Must I spell everything out for you? Think. What would it be if it wasn't an accident? No. No way. You mean Mr. Hammer did it on purpose? That's what I mean. Where's your proof? Can you prove it? Just think. Would he have let me run his life for 5 years over a mere accident? And I ran him hard, believe you me. But the security lady said it was an accident. Oh, well, she was a big fan of Hammers, you see. She jumped on the reporter who brought that photo to the studio. She wrenched it out of his hands, she did. Even a few bruises, too. So that's why she had the photo. She's an old fool. Of course all the reporter would need is negatives. He could have made a copy. But he didn't. The only copy of that photo is the one you hold. Give it to me. Now. What? This is valuable evidence. Boys. Oh my gosh. What? Who are they? Professionals. They're good at erasing various things. What do you think? Would you like to be erased? What? The trial ends tomorrow. How unfortunate. It's a shame you'll have to miss it. Tell me why. Why do you want this photograph so badly? This is Mr. Hammer's dirt, no? Why should D. Vasquez care what it says? I'm sure you have plenty of time to think about where you're going. So long, friends. Boys, erase away. No! Hold it right there. I heard everything, pal. D. Vasquez, you're coming down to the precinct with me now. Not bad. Very well. It appears this contest will be decided tomorrow then, in court. I'll be looking forward to it. Her lungs have got to be terrible. She's always smoking. Hey, you okay, pal? Sorry I was a little late in my entrance. I don't get many chances to practice that sort of thing. Detective Gumshoe? Thank you, thank you, thank you. I was really scared. Huh? Don't mention it, pal. Just doing my job. Detective Gumshoe? Sorry, it's just... I wanted to say that line ever since I became a detective. Okay, I got one more job to do today. I'm sure we'll run into each other soon. I kind of love Detective Gumshoe. He's getting better. That first trial he was a jerk, but now he's getting better. Well, Nick, looks like we're getting close to the bottom of this. And who's at the bottom? And who's at the bottom? The Vasquez. To be continued. Oh wow, that was a short investigation day. Yes, we will save that. Okay. October 20th, 10 a.m. District courtroom number 4. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Today will be the final day of this trial. I hope both the prosecution and defense will be able to present decisive evidence. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement. In yesterday's session, the defense presented us with a new theory for this case. He claims that the scene of the crime was, in fact, Studio 2. Today, I will call on people present in Studio 2 trailer that day. From their testimonies, the truth will become clear. Very well. Edgeworth seems a bit on edge today. You may call your witness, Mr. Edgeworth. You may call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls Miss D. Vasquez to the stand. Miss D. Vasquez is a producer who was present in Studio 2 trailer that day. Will the witness state her name and occupation? D. Vasquez. I'm a producer for Global Studios. On the day of the murder, you were in the trailer in Studio 2. As everyone here knows, yes. I dislike needless banter. If you must pontificate, do it when I'm not here. Very well, Miss Vasquez. Please give us the court your testimony concerning the day of the murder. Nick, I know she did it. Make her pay. Right. If she's guilty, I'll catch her with her pants down, so to speak. Witness testimony. I entered the trailer, a little before noon. The meeting began at 12 sharp. It ended at 4. There was to be a rehearsal afterwards, so I went to Studio 1. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. At 2:30, we took a 15-minute break in the meeting. Sal and I ate T-bone steaks on the table in front of the trailer. We found Hammer's body later when we all went to Studio 1. That's all. I have a question about one part of your testimony. You were fatigued, so you had Sal take you. The van. There's a van at Studio 2. I had him take me in that. I thought it might be risky to walk with all the monkeys' head topped over. I see. Very well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. This is the final battle, Nick. Let's do it. Okay. By yourself. Yes. And you didn't stop at the employee area? No. Are you always this terse? Yes. Oh dear. Did no one leave during your meeting? No one. Oh, come on, let's talk a bit more about that. The witness did not come here to engage in idle conversation. Stop interrupting the testimony. Same could be said to you, Mr. Edgeworth. And please stop banging on your little desk. It hurts my ears. It hurts my ears. And when exactly was that? I've forgotten. Maybe you could try remembering? No. The meeting ended at 4 and the rehearsal was scheduled for 5. The meeting ended at 4 and the rehearsal was scheduled for 5. I would think that it was between those 2 times. You would think? Come on. All you did was state the obvious, Edgeworth. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. Hold on. You had Sal take you. What does that mean? It means what I just said. I had Sal take me in the Studio 2 van. Oh, right. Well? And what were you doing during that time? Don't hit your desk. It irritates me. Yeah, Mr. Wright. Oops. It was a 15-minute break. Sal and I ate T-bone steaks on the table in front of the trailer. Do you have someone who can verify this? Sal. No, I mean someone else. One person is enough. If she committed murder during that break, she wouldn't have had time to eat T-bone steak. If I had evidence that could prove she didn't eat the steak. Well, Nick, find anything? Kinda wish she'd said a little more. It's hard. I think she's pretty used to being the boss. But I'm sure you'll find some contradiction in what she said, somewhere. I entered the trailer, a little before noon. Hold on. Okay. They don't connect. Your Honor, the statement contradicts the evidence. It does. I don't see any contradiction. Huh? Really? The objection overruled. Try to think before you make accusations, Mr. Wright. Whoops, that didn't go so well. How do I... How do I prove that she didn't eat it? It's because she's fatigued. It's gonna be another losing. Huh. But like, this is from the employee area. Huh, as I thought. You claim you had a T-bone steak. But I say you did not. What's this now, Mr. Wright? Look at this. It's a plate. This plate was on the table in the employee area. As you can see, a large bone has been left behind. Mr. Wright, need I remind you it was a T-bone steak? Exactly my point. Remember, if you will, Miss Vasquez and Manel ate at a table outside the trailer. Oh, that's why there were no steaks. Yet there were no bones left on the plates. The plates were bare. Miss Vasquez. Tell me, how can a person eat a T-bone steak and not leave the bone? I think I know how. You didn't eat any steak during that break. You took your steak and threw it somewhere, like that incinerator. Oh. Okay, I guess that could be what causes the soot, too. Sure. I see. Then that was what Miss Vasquez was doing. Then what was Miss Vasquez doing during her break? Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? She was meeting with the Steel Samurai. Order? What are you saying? Yes, Your Honor. As Miss Vasquez left the trailer to eat her steak, she ran into the Steel Samurai. And then you did it. You killed him with your own hands. Mr. Wright, isn't that a little presumptuous? What kind of stunt are you trying to pull, Wright? Let him claim what he wants. You say I did it? Yes. Fascinating. And here I was worrying that today would be boring as all the rest. Very well. Let us have a battle of wits, you and I. Any day, Vasquez. Good luck, Nick. Let's see. What was that murder weapon again? Oh yes, the samurai spear. Yes. I am, as you can see, a woman of petite stature. How could I possibly use that heavy spear as a weapon? I think you have had a great deal of difficulty using that as a weapon. Pretty much anyone would. Huh. You see? Yes. However, that has no bearing on this case. Meaning, the samurai spear was not the murder weapon. What? What is the meaning of this? The spear was found lying next to the victim's body. I have proof, Your Honor. I can prove that the samurai spear was not used as a murder weapon. I present my proof, the so-called murder weapon. But it is the murder weapon. Not so fast. Remember that the spear broke the morning action scene run-through? But someone fixed the spear. It was the security lady. She fixed it with duct tape. Now tell me, how is it possible for someone to stab a man who's wearing a thick costume with this through the chest? Order, order. Mr. Wright, what are you driving at? Think about what you're... Silence. I'm the one testifying here and I will be heard. Are you quite sane? Are you even aware of what you're saying? If the samurai spear was not the murder weapon, then pray tell me what was. How was Hammer killed? Well, Mr. Wright, can you tell us what the weapon we used to kill was? I would make a claim. Would I make a claim like that if I couldn't tell you what the weapon was? I'm afraid your confidence can sometimes be unfounded, Mr. Wright. Very well, let us see this murder weapon then. Look at this photo. What is this? Why, that's Jack Hammer standing atop of the stairs. Order, order. If I cannot have order in this trial. Will be suspended. Mr. Wright, what is this all about? This photograph is from 5 years ago. There was an unfortunate accident at Global Studios. This is a photo of that accident. Not a word of this was leaked outside. It was a close-kept secret to the studios. What does this have to do with the current case? Mr. Edgeworth, you still can't see it. See the fallen man in this photo? See how the fence post pierced him through the chest? What? Are you saying? Yes. What happened 5 years ago? Has happened again. Mr. Wright, continue. It's 2:30 on the day of the murder. Miss D. Vasquez meets Jack Hammer outside the Studio 2 trailer. Then she did it. She pushed Mr. Hammer off the stairs onto the fence. Just like Mr. Hammer had himself done 5 years ago. Though whether she did it on purpose or by accident, I cannot say. In other words, the victim, Mr. Hammer, he died in the same way that he caused another man to die. 5 years ago. Precisely. Ironic, isn't it? Very creative, Mr. Wright. I could use a man like you on my script writing staff. You deny that what I say is true. Mr. Wright, let's say, for the sake of argument, that Hammer died at the trailer as you say. Yet the body was found at Studio 1, was it not? And in the evil magistrate's costume, no less. Are you then claiming that I carried the body to Studio 1? Are you then claiming that I carried the body to Studio 1? And returned to the trailer all in the space of a 15-minute break? How could I have disposed of the body? The break in the meeting at the trailer lasted 15 minutes from 2:30 to 2:45. Could Jack Hammer have been pushed off the stairs to his death, then carried to Studio 1 and placed inside his costume? There wasn't enough time. Indeed. Well, Mr. Wright, how could she have dealt with the body? What if she had another way to carry the body? Other than her own hands. For instance? Actually, for that matter, there was no need for her to do the deed in 15 minutes. And there was a way for her to carry that body. Interesting. Let's hear it then. Mr. Wright, please show us how she carried the body. With this. That's important. I knew it, finally. Miss Vasquez, you carried the body to Studio 1. And you used the studio van to do it. Recall your testimony. There was to be a rehearsal afterwards, so we went to Studio 1. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. There was a van there, right? I had Sal drive me. You used the van to carry the body to Studio 1. Then, before anyone else got there, you put the body into the magistrate costume. Hold on, Wright. Don't forget it was Sal Manella who drove the van. Are you suggesting that Mr. Manella was a conspirator? He may not have been. Of course he wasn't. Ha! So without Mr. Manella noticing anything, she put the body in the van, then managed to put the body into the costume. Are you seriously suggesting that it's possible? Of course I'm not serious. Ha! Ha! I was kidding. To her. Lighten up the proceedings. Lighten? You can't lighten up a murder. Mr. Wright, look court requests you refrain from making claims in jest. Yes, Your Honor. Of course, Salmonella has to have been a conspirator. The body had to be placed in the van and put into the costume. There's no way Miss Vasquez could have done that alone. Also, don't forget that they had to dispose of the Steel Samurai costume. They had to, because it was covered in Mr. Hammer's blood. They probably burned it in that small incinerator. Ha! I was right! Well, Miss Vasquez, shall I continue? No need. You're smarter than you look, Mr. Wright. I lose, you win. It was fun. I win? So what happens next? Don't... Me? How do you even say that out loud? Don't you have anything to say? What would you like me to say? Huh? I lost? Something like that. Didn't you already do that? I just said that. Wait, so you mean... D. Vasquez, so it was you? You killed Jack Hammer? This is too... There's something else here. Who can say? Are you sure I did? Mr. Wright, we just engaged in a battle of wits. And the result of that battle, you proved the possibility that I murdered Hammer. Right. But... that is only a possibility. Proof is another thing altogether. You lack decisive proof, Mr. Wright. What? Order. Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Of course it's as the witness says. Certainly it does seem very likely she did it, but there's no proof. Edgeworth isn't sure. Well, I came here as a witness today. If you've no more questions, I'll be leaving. What do I do now? I'd like you to testify again. Testify again? Know when to give up, Mr. Wright. Think about it. Even if I were to testify again, what's the point? I can only say what I want. What I said before. The truth, Mr. Wright. I've already said all there is to say. What would happen if I said it again? You'd ask the same questions and get the same answers. A waste of time. To come so far only to fail. As it seems there are no further questions, I would like to end this cross-examination of the witness, Miss Vasquez. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm sorry. This is funny. I was hoping to come up with a question while I was objecting, Your Honor. I didn't. Why did he object? I see very well. Your Honor, I requested the witness testify again. You are the prosecutor, are you not? Why are you badgering me and your witness? I just want to hear your testimony again. Does that make any sense to you, Your Honor? I don't see that we have anything to gain by repeating the last several minutes. Mr. Edgeworth. I too see little point in making Miss Vasquez repeat herself. What exactly did you want her to testify about? Well, yes. Indeed, verily I say, ergo. I want to hear about what happened after they found the body. After they found the body? Very well. The witness will testify to the court concerning this matter. Nick, why did Edgeworth? Who knows? He probably realized she did it too. But wasn't he the one that said he always gets a guilty verdict? After all that? Edgeworth. What is going on with Edgeworth right now? What is happening? I'm very interested. I was with Sal and Old Bag, the security lady, when we found the body. The assistant was there too, only Powers was absent. I immediately called the police, then Powers showed up. The security lady Old Bag wasn't agitated, pointing at Powers saying he did it. I asked to be left out of the proceedings. I went back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes. And I went home. I see no issues raised by that testimony. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. Okay, Nick, we're real close, real close. She may be acting tough now. But if you put her on the spot, she's sure to falter. Find the key, you need to twist your truth out of her, Nick. Right. What time was that? We're gonna meet at 5. The rehearsal. So I'd say it was then. When exactly did you and Manila arrive at the studio? About 10 minutes before. I wasn't stuffing any bodies into costumes, mind you. Where were the other employees when you got to the studio? They weren't there yet. Well, then you could have put Hammer into that costume with Salmonell's help. Oh? What did I just say? Did I not just say I wasn't stuffing any bodies into any costumes? You should try to listen to what other people are saying, boy. Boy? The witness will continue her testimony. Mr. Powers was taking a nap, correct? So he says. Did no one go to call him? Remember? Remember what? There was a dead body lying in front of us, yet you expect me to be calm? You certainly seemed calm enough when I accused you of murder. Wait a second. Wouldn't that be the other way around? The other way around? You discovered a murdered body and one person was missing, right? Wouldn't you normally go looking for the missing person? I have to agree with the defense on this one. Well, Miss Vasquez. Logically speaking, perhaps. But no one was thinking very logically, I assure you. Also, without his steel samurai costume, Powers doesn't really stand out. We often left him on the bus when shooting at location, and we noticed he was missing. Or Powers. I suppose that explains that. Very well, Miss Vasquez, you may continue. Immediately called the police, then Powers showed up. What was everyone else doing at that time? No one said a thing. It was silent, completely silent. So we stood there until Powers finally arrived in the scene. Sorry, I'm late. Then silence. Then silence. Dead silence. Silence. Hey, Nick. Why is everyone so quiet? Someone should do something to lighten things up. Oops. Old bag. The security lady. Why did the security powers think Powers had done it? She said because she saw him going towards the studio. Right, the Steel Samurai. Did the detective arrest Mr. Powers based solely on the security lady's word? Perhaps not. She seemed to have also given the detective that photograph. Of course, I heard all this after the fact. That photograph, meaning the one taken by the security camera. She's not known for exhibiting the best sense of judgment when it comes to Hammer. I don't think there's anything in there I can use. You asked to be left out. Yes. It seems that everyone else was questioned. And I'm really not fond of that sort of thing. But you can't just decide who the police will and won't question. Thankfully, the studio thinks otherwise. They were nice enough to understand that, since we were in a meeting. There was no way we could have been involved. Thus, they covered for us. Covered for you. Or covered it up for you. There must have been a lot of writing on with all those bigwigs at the meeting. I'm sure her professionals helped convince everyone they didn't require a question. The script in your direction notes? Yes, they're quite valuable. It wouldn't do to have them stolen. No, I guess not. Isn't the script at Studio 1? Wait a second. I thought you came to Studio 1 for a rehearsal. Why didn't you bring your script and notes? Well, I was under the impression that we wouldn't be able to rehearse anything. Why? There was a murder after all. Who could think of rehearsing after that? But you found the body after. Very well, Miss Vasquez. Please continue. Okay, well that's... Your Honor, I have an objection to the witness's last statement. Why is he helping? Huh? Think. Ms. Vasquez said she didn't bring the script because it wouldn't be a rehearsal. Don't you see what that means? She wouldn't have had to show up to... No, she wouldn't... She would have had to have known about the murder before going to Studio 1. Why is he helping? Order, order. Mr. Edgeworth. What you have just said is a reasonable observation. However, I find it hard to understand why the prosecution would make such a move. Or are you thinking of a career change to defense? Oh my gosh. I appreciate the concern, Your Honor. I will stand by my statement, however, regardless of how the court sees my role here. Now, Miss Vasquez, do you have an explanation? I can't believe Edgeworth is helping me. Me either. So the prosecution is in cahoots with the defense. What kind of court is this? No matter. I think you misunderstood me. I have a perfectly good reason to believe that there would be no rehearsal. Very well. Witness will change your testimony to reflect this reason. How did you know about the injury? How did I know? Sal. He told me. Sal, the director. You have to find something to peg this on here. On her hair. Or everything we've done till now would have been wasted. I believe in you, Nick. Go get him. I was with Sal and Oldback security later when we found the body. Okay. I don't know. Oh, I'm gonna lose this. Okay, it's fine. The witness statement's clearly faulty, Your Honor. I'm sorry, but I can see nothing faulty. Unfortunately, we'll have to penalize you, Mr. Wright. Okay. This? You knew that Hammer was injured. Don't you think that's a little funny? Oh, she said Hammer. I mean, it was a Steel Samurai who was injured. It was Will Powers. Duh. Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Yes, Mr. Hammer was dragging his leg in this photo, but that's because he was pretending to be Mr. Powers. Pretending. One person was injured in the run-through that morning. That person was Mr. Powers, not Mr. Hammer. Now, why did you think it was Mr. Hammer who was injured? I already said it, Sal. It was Sal who told me. That's right, he must have gotten it wrong. I think not. Mr. Manila was at the run-through that morning. He would have known it was Mr. Powers who was injured. He would have known it was Mr. Powers who was injured. He saw it happen. Why would he tell you the wrong person? Miss Vasquez. Saw Hammer limping. Actually, you didn't hear anything from Mr. Manila. You saw Mr. Hammer limping with your own eyes. Yes, but... wasn't it Mr. Powers who was injured? Yes, but remember, Mr. Hammer was dragging his leg too. He was pretending to be Mr. Powers. Ah! And when was he doing this? Well, it would have had to have been after he put on the Steel Samurai costume. It went to Studio 2, where he was murdered. Exactly. Miss Vasquez, you met with him, didn't you? You saw the Steel Samurai limping. And Mr. Hammer was in the Steel Samurai suit. That's why you were confused. That's why you thought it was Mr. Hammer who had been injured that morning. Order, order, I will have order. Witness, can you refute this claim? Yeah, let's see you sneak out of this one, Vasquez. Vasquez. I don't know. Very well. I have a question for you. Why are the real killers always so persistent? Why in the world would I want Mr. Hammer dead? He's fallen hard on hard times, but he was a star. I had nothing to gain from his death. Nothing. Because she didn't know it was Hammer until after. Yes, you would need a motive. Yes, you would need a motive. Why would she have killed the victim? There's a reason. It is unclear to this court. Does the defense have anything to say on the matter? In other words, can you prove she had motives? The accident? This is my proof. This is the photo from before. This photo reveals the motive in the murder. I'm right, aren't I, Miss Vasquez? 5 years ago, Mr. Hammer was at the height of his fame. With Dee Vasquez's help, a terrible accident was swept under the carpet. Ladies and gentlemen, the case currently up for trial. It began on that day, 5 years ago. Ironically enough, that accident precipitated Mr. Hammer's fall. His fall from stardom. His guild weighed down on him, no doubt. However, you, Dee Vasquez, used Mr. Hammer. You made him work for you for petty change. Bringing us to the present day, and Mr. Hammer's last role as the evil magistrate. Yes, undoubtedly, it was a constant source of shame for an ex-star. One moment, Mr. Wright. We aren't talking about motives here, yet you only have talked about Mr. Hammer. It almost seems as if it was Mr. Hammer who had killed Dee Vasquez, not the other way around. What motive would Miss Dee Vasquez have? Yes, that's right. According to what you say, I would have had no reason to kill Hammer. He was a good source of income for me. And I never get rid of useful men. It's a policy of mine. Mr. Wright. Please explain Miss Vasquez's motive for murder. She didn't have one. She had no motive, Your Honor. What's that now? It was Mr. Hammer who was out for blood. All Miss Vasquez did was push him off the stairs, in self-defense. What's that now? It's simple. Mr. Hammer was intending to kill Miss Vasquez. What? What? Your Honor. Jack Hammer drugged Mr. Powers with sleeping pills. Jack Hammer snuck into the dressing room and stole the Steel Samurai costume. Jack Hammer wore the costume to fool security lady into thinking he was Powers. Then Jack Hammer made his way to the trailer. And for what purpose, you ask? To kill Dee Vasquez, who had so cruelly taken advantage of him all of those years. Why are you angry? So, you did it, didn't you? Yes. I am guilty. It was me. Someone call an ambulance. There's blood everywhere. We're too late. Miss Vasquez. What? What happened here? Manuel fell from the trailer stairs. Manuel! Miss Vasquez, please try to remain calm. No. How could this... It was an accident. Mr. Hammer was doing an action scene and... No! Manuel! Don't touch him. Miss Vasquez. No! Please don't die. Please. Congratulations, Mr. Wright. I lose. Again. Mr. Edgeworth, where's Dee Vasquez? In the waiting lobby, Your Honor, as calm and collected as ever. I see. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. It appears you've brought yet another miracle. I thank you, Your Honor. I think not, Your Honor. Well, Powers was innocent. That he should be found. So it was only natural, not a miracle. Yes, Guess you're right. Very well. This court finds the defendant Will Powers. Yay, he's not guilty. That is all. Court is adjourned. Why did Edgeworth do that? I don't know what to say. Thanks so much. I'm just glad you're okay. Yes, but it's sad. I know now that Mr. Hammer stole my costume. Bad enough that he wanted to kill Miss Vasquez. But to think he tried to frame me for the murder? Makes me sad. Tell me why, Mr. Wright. Tell me. Why did Mr. Hammer want to blame me? Well, this is what I think. Mr. Hammer wanted to blame you because... It's because you were the Steel Samurai. Because I was the Steel Samurai? Mr. Hammer was a big star once. But it was reduced to acting in a kid's show. And as the villain to boot. Kids love the Steel Samurai. So, he hated you. I think I understand. He could have just told me. I would have changed places with him any time. I think you're missing the point. Thank you. I'm just glad it's all over. So am I. So am I. Congratulations, WP. Oh, thanks to you, I'll be able to don the Steel Samurai outfit once more. I can't wait to get back into that sweaty costume and... Is something wrong? No, of course not. Nick, Edgeworth. Say something right. I'm not good at small talk. What? That was too bad, Edgeworth. You don't waste any time gloating, do you? No, I really want to thank you. Vasquez would have gotten away if you hadn't stepped in. Pleased to meet you, I'm Powers. Edgeworth. I'm a big fan of your work, Mr. Powers. Liar. Right. I must say, I hadn't expected to meet again after all these years. Meet again? However, in retrospect, it would have been better if we had not met. Thanks to you, I'm saddled with unnecessary feelings. Unnecessary feelings? Oh my gosh. It's so unfunny. It's so funny. Yes, unease and uncertainty. Aren't those kind of necessary? You only have to get in my way. You listen to me, Miss Phoenix Wright. Don't ever show your face in front of me again. That's what I came here to tell you. Oh, Mr. Wright. So, you know that TikTok audio? That's like, I'm experiencing feelings like some 14-year-old kid. Or like some kid and the other person's like, you don't have feelings? That's all I could think of was that one audio. I didn't quote it correctly. It's fine. Whatever. Mr. Wright? Was that guy your friend? What? Friends? As if. They're rivals. Rivals. Right, Nick? For now we are, I guess. Huh? Why do I get the feeling I'm missing something? Come on, Nick, tell me. What's the deal with you and Edgeworth? You and me, Maya, we're both missing something. And so the curtain closed on another trial. It caused quite a stir by revealing that accident from 5 years ago. It was the talk of the town. Thankfully, Global Studios rethought its programming change. It went back to making kids shows again. Pink Princess. Nick! This is it! The new show starts today. You're gonna watch it with me, right? I'll admit I was kind of surprised. I didn't think they'd seriously go through with it. You have to buy trading cards too, okay? We have to trade with Cody and that assistant. Fine, I'll do it. Isn't it great WP gets to play the lead again? I wonder if they'll show his real face this time. I don't know. I don't think the world is ready for a real Will Powers. The end. Wow. Okay, new episode has been added. Nice. Save progress. Alright. Let's get this beginning scene started and then we can... I'm gonna stop it. It's been what, 15 years? About that, yes. 15 years is a long time to wait. You can't imagine how much I've suffered. You've suffered? But now, the perfect opportunity has presented itself. At last, I shall have my revenge. What? Merry Christmas. What? What? Edgeworth didn't do it. There's no way. What? Anyway, I'm stopping it there at that. Whatever that was. Yeah, so this is fun. I'm really enjoying this now. I'm really excited to keep playing. How many cases are in these games? I have no idea. But there's... Anyway. I'm glad that we were able to show that Will Powers was innocent. I really am glad. I'm waiting for the time where we're defending somebody and they're not innocent. Like, obviously Edgeworth is going to be innocent. He's gotta be. But there's gonna be a time, eventually, when they're not. I don't know. There's gotta be. I mean, that's like a thing. Like, it's gotta be... I don't know. Anyway. Thanks so much for watching. If you're enjoying this, please leave a like. Please subscribe to Seesaw Chill. I'd really, really appreciate it. And thanks so much for watching. Bye!